The Senate race in Georgia between Senator Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker is getting lots of attention right now. According to the latest poll by Survey USA, Warnock holds a 9-point lead against Walker, 48 to 39%. Warnock also holds much of the support of black voters in Georgia, with 85% saying they back him and just 5% who say they back Herschel Walker. For perspective, that's even less than 9% support for Republican Governor Brian Kemp. Joining me is Washington correspondent for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, Tia Mitchell. Tia, thank you for joining us. So what do you make of these latest polling numbers?
Well, the polling number shows that Raphael Warnock, as the incumbent, does seem to have a slight edge. The AJC, we had a recent poll as well. We did not show Warnock with as much of a commanding lead, but we did still show him with a slight edge. And so I think it shows that there are a lot of limitations to Herschel Walker. His campaign has struggled, we know, recently. And again, Raphael Warnock, as the incumbent, seems to be slightly ahead. But as we know, there are still 100 days until the election.
And I know you wrote about how some of Biden's recent legislative wins could actually give Democrats a boost in November, but there's a lot going against them, right? The economy and abortion access among top issues for most Georgia voters. Will it be enough, given the challenges that those issues are facing?
And I think our piece in just the general kind of political atmosphere shows that things can shift quickly. And again, with 100 days until the election, there's a lot that could happen. So right now, lately in the past couple of weeks, there has been a lot for Democrats to celebrate: the bipartisan gun law, the CHIPS and Science Act, what looks to be perhaps a tentative agreement on climate change, healthcare costs, and increasing taxes on wealthy Americans and companies. And so a lot of the things Democrats would like to accomplish, it looks like they're headed in that direction. And that's going to be something that they can go on the campaign trail, celebrate, sell to their voters. But again, it can turn on a dime. If gas starts going back up, that again will bring Democrats down. If inflation continues to rise and every month we get these reports about prices going up, that's something that we know Republicans plan to use and are using against their Democratic opponents, including Raphael Warnock. So yes, things are looking good this week. But for Democrats, they need something that's sustainable. They want more wins. And again, Republicans are going to continue to say there are various economic indicators as to why we believe you should not vote for Democrats in the fall.
And Tia, it's hard to talk about Georgia without talking about Stacey Abrams, right? She was on Morning Joe earlier today. So I want to play you what she said about the governor's race and then get your reaction on the other side.
Who is going to bring jobs to a state where women cannot survive being here? Who is going to make the decision to live in the state and bring multiple jobs to a place where we do not have adequate health care already, and we're going to continue to lose doctors and healthcare workers because they risk losing their licenses if they do their jobs. In Georgia, a doctor or a healthcare worker, an EMT, could go to prison for 10 years if they are found to have participated in an abortion. And they have to prove the negative. They have to prove that it wasn't their fault. That means they have to hire lawyers. That means that it's easier and more profitable to work somewhere else.
Strong words there from Stacey Abrams. And I know Abrams and Kemp are polling very tight in Georgia right now. Abrams tying Georgia's economy to abortion, which are also top issues there. So what do you see happening in that race?
So I think that Stacey Abrams is in a difficult position because, again, she is really focusing on these cultural issues that are clearly important, and not just to Democrats. When we talk about abortion, even gun control and things like that, they're important issues, but they're not necessarily the number one issues when we talk about what drives voters to the polls. We know that the economy, for example, and prices tends to be at the top of voters' minds. And in a lot of ways, voters are pretty happy with Governor Kemp in the way he's brought Georgia's economy through the pandemic. Governor Kemp and Republicans in Georgia have also benefited greatly from a lot of the things Democrats in Washington have done during the pandemic. So it's hard to attack Governor Kemp on the economy without attacking Democrats in Washington. So instead, Stacey Abrams is again focusing on healthcare, abortion, but that's a message that may not necessarily get enough voters at the polls to say we're going to dump our incumbent. Again, Brian Kemp is a very powerful incumbent, similar in the way that Raphael Warnock is coming into the race as a strong incumbent. And it's just going to be really hard to knock him off. As we see, Stacey Abrams is driving that message home. The question is, can she convince enough voters in Georgia to drop a pretty popular governor because they dislike his positions on abortion, on guns, on expanding Medicaid?
Race, we're definitely going to be watching closely. Lots of nuance there. Tia Mitchell, thank you for breaking it down.